Hello there, I'm Rose, and today we're getting into the Christmas spirit. I'm a huge fan of Christmas, and I think it's kind of interesting to think about how to do something like Christmas, something that is so extravagant and sometimes can be really wasteful or expensive. So I like the idea of trying to find more sustainable ways to enjoy the festive season. I'm not about to give up Christmas just because I want to be more sustainable. I think it's really cool to explore different avenues like this. So I have a list of some ideas, and we'll go through them. So some of them you might have heard before, some of them maybe not. Hopefully there is something fresh and new that I can offer you. I think it's just a good way to kind of just like think more in that direction. Like maybe it can give you some other ideas. And also feel free to add anything extra in the comment section if you have additional wisdom that I have not covered in this video. So my first thing is more advice than an idea. And it may be controversial because it's not necessarily going to be a sustainable gift, but my suggestion is to ask people what they actually want, because the most sustainable gift, at least in my opinion, is something that they'll actually use, something that they plan to keep, something that will stay with them for a long time. Rather than giving them something that maybe is more sustainable but is just going to get tossed out or end up in the back of their cupboards. So it's maybe not the most overall environmentally friendly idea in terms of like how it's made or whatever, but it can, just because they use it more often, because it's actually something that they want, it can end up being more sustainable in the long run. And it could also open you up to things within what they want, but you can maybe find a sustainable version of it or something like that. So I think it's always a good place to start by actually just asking what they want and going from there. So now we're gonna start with like the real suggestions. That was the first thing that I felt was important. Okay, then we've got like the whole grouping of sustainability products. I could not include these. So this is like, you could get them a reusable water bottle, like a nice one that maybe keeps their coffee hot and their water cold. Those nice like flask type ones. Reusable straws, if they wear makeup or are into skincare, you could give them reusable cotton pads, cotton rounds to take off their makeup. You can give them a compost bin if they're into cooking and gardening, so then they can use their waste in the garden. Reusable shopping bags. If they're into coffee, like takeaway cups. If they like, getting fast food or something, then takeaway cutlery, like bamboo cutlery. There are a lot of products out there, and a lot of them are really cute and useful even. So third category is digital gift cards. So this one is pretty cool because it doesn't require any actual physical things. So a Netflix subscription, Spotify, Audible, you can even do like a clothing rental service anything that's like a subscription service that doesn't use any physical materials is really, really cool. And I actually did this about 2 years ago. I gave my aunt a Netflix subscription for her Christmas present, and she absolutely loved it. She could watch Downton Abbey to her heart's content, so that was cool. Then my fourth category is just sort of a basic thing, like things you can thrift. So this one maybe needs a bit more creativity, a little bit more time and exploration, but I don't feel like you have to give something new to someone for Christmas or for birthdays or anything, you know. I think if you go to a thrift store, a charity shop, a vintage store, and you find something that you feel that someone would really like, go for it. I don't see why there has to be sort of like the stigma around giving secondhand gifts. I've done that before, like friends of mine who read, there'll maybe be a book that I come across, and I will then give them a book of their favorite author, and maybe it's a little bit loved before they receive it, but you know, it's still a book in fairly good condition and they can enjoy it again. And you know, that's just keeping the book in, you know, in cycle. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a book. It can be decor, like cool clothing pieces, anything that you find that you think will be really cool for the person. I think there's something kind of personal about that, by finding something at a secondhand store that reminds you of someone, and if they're into sustainability as well, then they'll totally get it. Then the next category, the fifth category, is plants and flowers or veggie seeds. So this is really nice because it's something that can add cheer to a house, or you know, if they're into gardening, you can get them little veggie seeds and they can start growing their own vegetables. I think it's just a really nice way to incorporate some of the environment in our everyday lives, and yeah, I think it just adds joy. And so yeah, I've done this a couple times, even just like little herb plants, so like a little thing of thyme or parsley can really be nice, even if it's just on the countertop and you use it in your cooking. I think it's just something nice that people can enjoy and use. And there are some specific plants that are really good for the environment, getting rid of carbon dioxide. I know in South Africa the spekboom is really good, but there's also like the snake plant and cacti. Those are really good too. And even what we've actually done is, because we've got quite a nice garden, and so if we have, say, a spekboom plant ourselves, we'll maybe find a nice little pot at a thrift store, and then we sort of replant into the little pot that we've found a section of our spekboom plant. And that's just a nice way to reuse a pot from the thrift store and give someone else a little plant to look after. So yeah, I've definitely done that a couple times before, and that's also a very cost-effective gift as well. Then we've got our sixth category, which is food stuff. This is like one of my favorites. I really like food, and I think it's so nice to just make something homemade for someone. Yeah, I often do this. I'll make like little biscuits or something to add to someone's gift, and that's just a really nice way to know that they'll be used and enjoyed, and it's not just, you know, gonna end up lying in a landfill because it's edible. I don't want to take over this category too much though, because there's this incredible YouTube channel, Pick Up Limes. They have this one video that talks about like food items that you can make and gift. I watched it last Christmas and I actually used a couple of their ideas for my Christmas presents last year. So yeah, they mentioned, you know, like cookies and stuff, but also making like a nut butter in a jar. Another thing that they had, which was really cool, was making a jar of layers of all the ingredients for, say, a muffin mixture. And so you give that to your friend, and then whenever they feel like baking, they've got the muffin mix that they just have to add maybe, you know, a milk to or anything like that, right? So I'm gonna link that video down below, so if you're interested in that category, go check out that video. I'm not gonna go on too much further because I'd like you to, you know, go and support that video instead. Then we've got the memory category or experience category, so creating an experience or a memory with the person. So if you would like to like sort of give them something physical as a representation of it, you can do like a digital voucher or something that you design yourself. And yeah, so it can be for any experience, like you'll cook a meal for them, or you're gonna join a dance class together, or what else? I mean, if you're quite close with them, you could give them a massage, or if you have a specific skill that you could take advantage of. For instance, if you're good at photography, you can maybe have it that the experience is that you'll do a photo shoot with them, and so that sort of thing that you can just have time together, quality time, doing something that they'll enjoy with you. I think that's a really nice gift. All right, and then I lost my list for a second. Okay, no, it's fine. We got it back. Then there are tons of sustainable brands out there. I don't want to go into this too much because I think the realm of this is just so expansive that it's kind of tricky to tell you everything that you can find. But there are so many sustainable brands that, you know, create beautiful clothing. They might upcycle old things. They're places that recycle materials and make something new. There's just really such a wide variety with clothing, decor, jewelry, all sorts of things like that. And yeah, and you can get something that is sustainably made, but they can be kind of pricey. So an option that's maybe more cost effective in this category is sort of bath stuff, bath goods from an eco-friendly brand. That's really nice, something that someone can enjoy. So yeah, that category is really broad, but yeah, I felt it was important to mention it. I think it's just, you never know, if there's something that someone really enjoys, there might be a sustainable version of it, and so it's just something to be aware of. Then the last category is for those people who say they don't want anything and it's just impossible to try and think of anything for them, but you want to give them something. So this is also quite broad, but it all under the umbrella of sort of donating or buying them something like a tree or an endangered species, anything where you're contributing towards the safety or restoration of the planet. And yeah, and it's something that they can sort of have ownership of, but yeah, it's not a tangible thing, if that makes sense. So for instance, you can buy them a tree, and they'll like get little updates on how the tree is going, how it's doing, and yeah, and they will own the tree even though it's somewhere in some random forest on the other side of the world. But it's just a really cool thing to sort of be a part of. You can also do that with animals. So a lot of these initiatives will sort of give something as a representation of it. So you might get like a stuffed toy for the animal that you are, you know, looking after financially. So that's something that's really nice. And so even if you can't think of anything to give them, this is kind of just something that you can give them, and it has a positive impact. I think it's really quite personal if you can find something that they care about. So maybe their favorite animal is an elephant, and so, you know, the gift then is financially looking after an elephant. So that's quite cool. Anyway, this is my little list of ideas for you. It's not an extensive list by any means. I'm just so aware that there's so much to learn out there, and feel free to let me know and let everyone else know if there's anything else that we could be gifting this Christmas season, and just in general whenever we need to gift someone or want to gift someone. But yeah, I am personally really excited for this year, and I think it's so nice to look more in the direction of sustainability when it comes to celebrating. So yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful festive season, and I'll see you in my next video.